Welcome to JSA TV, where we're covering the latest news, stories, and trends from within the digital infrastructure space. And we are coming at you live. That's right, we are live from beautiful downtown Austin, Texas, home of the Longhorns. We're keeping it weird on JSA TV at Datacloud USA, Metro Connect, and these good-looking guys to my right have got a lot of very, very cool things to discuss with us today. They are Samarth Maira. Samarth is the founder and CCO of Blueprint Data Centers, and Yaerid Jacob. Yaerid is the CEO and founder of Blueprint Data Centers. Gentlemen, welcome to JSA TV.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You bet. Thanks for hanging out. I know it's a little crowded up here, but I'm glad that we were able to make it work.
Exactly.
So for our viewers that don't already know, why don't you tell them a little bit about Blueprint Data Centers?
Sure. So we started Blueprint 3 years ago. I come from the energy sector, and coming into the digital infrastructure space, I saw a number of similar kind of structural challenges the digital infrastructure space is seeing. Stuff like energy procurement, supply chain, having flexibly designed facilities. Fortunately, in the energy sector, especially offshore, we are fully targeted on how we do this for a number of decades. So our goal was, let's leverage these skill sets as well as our broader team's data center experience to then quickly adapt and get swift digital infrastructure available in Austin, which is a dire need, as well as it overall in Texas, and then from there on move on.
Outstanding. Okay, so because you brought it up, a lot of challenges. You all saw the challenges, saw the issues specifically around power and some of these other things, and said, "Hey, we know how to solve for that. We've got the experience to solve for that." So why don't you tell us a little bit about what that experience is and how it is that you're using that experience to serve kind of the challenges of today and with an eye towards the challenges of tomorrow.
So oil and gas, similarly, as you can imagine, very remote facilities. We typically, in many scenarios, have to do our own power generation, our own energy infrastructure build out. So when we're working with the utilities or with the cities, with the permit teams, these are roles that we've had previously on the ground, working with everyone across the table.
Yeah.
So when we see challenges that they're seeing, or we see that there's potential areas that there's unlocked capacity that we could go and target, that's fortunately how we go and work with them, sit down with the cities, sit down with then the utility companies, the fiber partners, to then find that ideal site. Unfortunately, we now have 85 megs secured from the grid coming on in the near term between this year and next year.
I love it. Let's talk about some of those ideal sites. And Samarth, I believe this is going to be for you, Taylor and Georgetown. Why don't you tell us about those sites, what you guys are doing?
Perfect, yes. So, fun fact, Georgetown is one of the fastest growing cities in America for the last 3 years.
That is a fun fact. I did not know that.
And so, very interestingly, our projects are also, it gives us the opportunity to bring power to the market in a very constrained market where vacancies are at an all-time low. We're competing as developers to come to the market as quick as possible. Our customers are equally competitive and competing on the same fronts to be the first to market, to be able to leverage this capacity, to be able to test their things. And so this gives us the opportunity to bring this 85 megawatts near-term capacity in 2026 to the market, which we have just started to pre-lease. So very excited for this opportunity.
So, okay, I'm going off script already. I'm going to do it. So you seemingly are bringing a lot of stakeholders to the table and working kind of across all of those stakeholders and more specifically, more importantly, perhaps, their need or the needs of their constituencies. So how is it that you all are using kind of your previous experience to do that and to manage that? To me, it feels like it would be real important to be kind of like a ringleader in a circus, somebody who is able to kind of like tame the lions and make sure that the acrobats aren't falling off the high wire there.
No, that's a great point. I think for us in Blueprint, we have I call it a negative ego culture. Everyone has to roll up their sleeves, get
work done.
Yeah. So for us, whenever we're working with our partners, it's us sitting across the table, understanding what their challenges are, what their requirements are, not only from a customer aspect, but also from the utility partners, the fiber partners. Because we've sat and done and built these infrastructures previously in our previous roles, we're then able to go and understand their challenges and say, look, maybe this site or maybe this area is not ideal for that additional capacity. Maybe we look at it this way based on your overall infrastructure upgrades. And with that, working across the table, we've been able to move our power procurement substantially swifter than I would say the average in the industry. And we're planning to then leverage the 4 data center platforms that our colleagues have come from, where they've seen all kinds of permutations and combinations of digital infrastructure, as well as our investor who's also come from a very strong digital infrastructure position to then really build out a great platform across the states.
I love it. And guys, the vibe I'm getting from you is agility. Is like understanding, like kind of intuitively where the challenges are, and being flexible and quick to meet those challenges. So with that in mind, when as you're like approaching delivery at scale, how does your agility, or that that ability to move quickly, how is that helping you in kind of today's market?
So we have 85 megs right now. We have around 2.62 gigs in our pipeline. Our approach, again, is with our customers, we only market what's actually secured and power is secured for our site, just because of the number of noise in the industry on what is real and what's not. The other part is that we want to go and make sure that on our large projects, that our clients similarly see our adept and our flexible approach on our smaller kind of, we call it our singles, doubles, triples, and then home runs. And on our home runs, we'll again leverage our similar experience.
Baseball analogies are always great with me.
Leverage those experiences to then do these large scale projects, because the similar kind of constraints like energy efficiency. In oil and gas and energy, as you can imagine, we're selling energy in the end. So efficiency is revenue. So we are ultra focused on that. Offshore oil and gas, where you look at flexibly designed facilities. When you see an offshore platform or a floating production facility, that's typically there for 30, 40, 50 years. Yeah. You don't bring it back onshore, do a lot of work. So we've developed our designs to be flexible on day one. And that requires a lot of forward thinking, a lot of understanding where the market is likely to go to, and then building in that flexibility up front so that next time in 5, 6, 10 years, when there is another technology change or another new kind of cooling system or whatever that may be, our system and the data center is already designed and can quickly be updated to don't deal with a vast variety of what client demands are.
I'm sold. Actually, yeah, go ahead, please.
I was just going to say, so he actually is probably not leaning into his experience as much, but like again, coming from
you can't be modest on JSA TV.
coming from oil and gas, again, like having to think forward of like 40 years ahead, 30 years ahead, where you can't bring offshore facilities onshore just to be able to work on it a tiny bit. So the thinking is very similar in terms of like what's changing right now in the market is so much, and there's such tremendous change every few months.
Yeah.
That you kind of have to plan ahead in a way where you are flexible and building in a way where you are avoiding possibilities of failure, like even 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, and so on. So like that allows us, and our team's kind of experience and thinking allows us to bring all of that together, but think of it from a perspective from a very different lens and industry.
Samarth, I love that analogy, because it's like it's not as if you're solving a problem, you're solving a potential problem. And thinking about that with regard to like how you're philosophically with how you're servicing your clients. That's all the time we have, but I feel like we could speak all afternoon. I really appreciate your guys' time today. Thank you.
Likewise,
thank you.
So
it's a pleasure meeting you, Dean.
Pleasure meeting you as well. Thank you, Samarth.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you, viewers, for watching JSA TV. We'll see you very soon.